Oh yeah, this is gonna
We
be
are
good
live.
tonight.
We're
This is gonna be
live.
good. This is gonna be so good. I can't wait. Ooh.
All right.
Ooh.
Here, you just can't wait to sell people out down the river.
No,
No
There'll be a
life
whole lot of
no,
relationships that are busted up because of this
no,
one.
no.
He out here ruining people's relationships. Hey, everybody. Good evening.
That was a long time ago. Don't be mad.
As in yesterday.
Last month.
Welcome to Conversations Overheard. Very unscripted, real, raw conversations. If you've never seen us, we have great conversations for the 50 and over crowd. And we are talking about work wives and work husbands today.
Right.
So people and who see each other every day and who feel like they have a lot in common. They use that term, this is my work wife, my work husband, a person that they feel like when they get to work they can rely upon, they can, tell secrets to, and they have a bond.
Yeah.
And what do you
have a
guys
bond.
think about that?
Like, you're going to have to work with the opposite sex. I mean, you don't
Absolutely.
live in a bubble, and you have to be able to, communicate. But if you are single, you can have 5 work husbands and work wives if you want to.
So both parties are single, it's okay.
If that's what you want to do.
Right.
But if you are not single, if you have your own wife or husband or your own woman or man, I'm not really with the whole work wife, work husband situation. I feel like wife, husband is not a term to use so loosely like that. Like, I don't use friend loosely. You gotta earn that shit. So, no. If you my man, you can't have no work wife.
Yeah.
And even in play, I'm not gonna play.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, go ahead, get it out.
Yeah.
Because you
Spit
seem
it out.
like I can see the wheels
I
spinning.
mean, that's, it's funny because that's 2010, 15, 20, 24. It's given.
2010, 15, 20.
I know, I'm like-
It's just giving it a name. But I mean, I think it's existed in some form since women have been in the workforce. I don't think
Without
that
the
it
tagline.
didn't have a name. It wasn't branded, but I
Right.
think that it's always gone on. And I mean, I've done it and had them several times.
Okay, without calling them work wife or work husband.
I didn't. That's 2010, 24. I've been working since the 70s. So
And so, how did you I know you've never been married, but was your work wife or work husband? I'm sorry. Was your? I swear to God, that was not a Freudian slip. That was just an accident. He is. He does not. He's not
came
acting.
out so
It
eloquently,
did.
though.
Was the work wife that you were making mention of? Was she married? Did she have a husband? Is what I was thinking in my head.
Because I've done it multiple times. Some of them had husbands. Some of them did not.
And did you feel differently about this situation because they had a spouse?
I know him.
Okay,
Subject area
so
comment.
you had never been around the spouse.
Nah. I don't know.
Okay, all right. So I was just wondering if she acted
I did,
differently.
hold it. I did meet one at the Christmas party.
And so was she different to you, like a little bit more standoffish to you, or was she still like hee?
No, she actually had me go get her a drink.
Okay.
Did you buy him one too?
It was company. They were free.
Did you bring him one too?
It was it was like we were in the liquor industry, so of course I brought him a drink.
Okay. It wasn't like, here you go, wife.
Hey, baby, drink up. Smile. No, I didn't do all of that. But he was standing right there, and she's like, "Hey, would you give me a drink?" I'm like, "Sure, no problem."
I mean, some people might be cool with that whole scenario. I'm just not.
Yeah.
I'm just
So
not.
I do, but I to your point, I do get that it's been going on for a long time.
Since women have been in the workforce.
Yes.
Amen.
And to that
Men
effect.
were always in the workforce.
Well, no, but so let me say this: women also, have like work besties.
She's
So-
working through that and processing that now.
I know, I get that, but that's my point too. So you're saying, as long as women have been working, a man has said, "Oh, this is my work wife," maybe without saying it. But what to her point and to my point is that women also can choose somebody to be their work husband. It's not just necessarily you wifing the woman.
And it's
Yeah,
and, no, and to my point, what I was saying is that women, we don't always choose a man. It could be another woman. Like if you and I work together,
True.
you'd be my work bestie. So it wouldn't necessarily be a man that would be your work person, but the whole term work wife, work husband. So I'm wondering, I've never had, like I've had in pharmaceutical sales, and I did it in 20 years. Pharmaceutical salespeople are generally attractive people. That is just a fact. Salespeople are just attractive people. Companies go out of their way to hire attractive, talkative people. So I've always had fairly attractive men who were my partners in pharmaceutical sales in the same territory. I never looked at them as my work husband or my work bestie, because many times they were married and I embraced the spouse, or when they weren't married, if they had a girlfriend, I embraced that too. I embraced her too. So, and because I was married, I don't even think that it would have been received well, me coming home telling my then husband, yeah, my work husband, he would have been like,
What?
fuck you talking about?
Right.
But
Your
you,
wife?
but
Right.
you all are making it like it's a proclamation and a parade.
Well, no, I just think
It's-
that it diminishes the value of the relationship that you have. The
Your
loving-
real husband
Yeah,
and
yeah.
wife.
So, because even if you're not married and you are, you're in a long-term relationship or just in a committed relationship, and you say my work spouse or my work husband, that person may not say anything because they may not feel like they have the right because they're not married to you, but they may be thinking, what the hell are you talking about?
Right. How are you giving somebody a title that I don't have?
It diminishes the value
Yeah.
of your relationship.
But I had a situation, and I'll even name the company.
You always have situations,
because
but-
they're not in business anymore. But it was Sara Lee, and the lady that I worked with, she was like, her husband actually was like, why don't you have Gary take you to this? It was an Indian restaurant, because I don't want to do that. He's your work husband.
Really?
The
She said that to her husband?
No, the husband said that to her.
Were you standing there?
No, I
Or
wasn't
she just
standing.
told you about it?
She told me about it.
So
then
so
we
you
went to the
just said
restaurant.
it almost a little sarcastically. Did he say it like, have Gary take you? That's your work husband.
That was the way that it was related. Because again, I was not there. That was the way that she related it to me. Was that he was, a little snarky, he was a little
Yeah,
sassy.
and probably a little jealous.
Yeah.
But
Not my issue.
it may not be. But what the husband was saying was, since you spend so much time with him, you talk about him all the time, he's your work husband, have him take you.
That's how it sounds to
Right.
me.
Let him spend the
Have
money.
that mofo take you.
Exactly, to this new Indian restaurant. But I'll give you another scenario. So when I was 17, 18, in college, I worked, when I came home, for Amoco Corporation. And my position basically was, when the secretaries went on vacation, I would fill in for them. But it was, the positions were like top tier, right? So like when the executive administrative assistants would go on vacation, I fill in. Anyhow, so now I'm young. Mind you, I'm young. I'm like 18. And one of the guys said to me, he said, "Oh, you're doing such a good job." He was like, "If you were a little older, I would make you my work wife."
How old was he?
Now, I was there for a whole week. He was one of the CEOs on the 30th floor. But here's the thing. Now, he meant it like, you're doing such a great job. My secretary's gone. You're my secretary for the week. If you were older, I would make you my work wife. So somewhere in his mind, he knew that it was inappropriate, because age played a factor in what he said.
Because his intentions weren't pure. Because if
Now, he tried to just say it was wrapped up in work, but he also realized that you can't make me a work wife because I'm only
A
18.
kid.
Right. And so it was kind of like, what? But yeah, so sometimes, and to my point, sometimes men know and women know exactly what they're doing. They are pushing the envelope towards something that's inappropriate and wrapping it in, let's just call it a work relationship.
Yeah, because I think, and I, again, I've never had this, this situation, but I think that work wife, work husband, those types of relationships, this is that type of bonding lends itself to inappropriate conversations.
Yeah.
That have nothing to do with work. The closeness, the camaraderie, it's almost like pillow talk without a pillow. That's
That sometimes
yeah,
leads to
yeah.
good pillows.
It's it leads to, okay, let's go have lunch, or what are you doing tonight? Oh, my spouse is working late. You know what? You got to eat. Come on. Let's go have dinner together. And and dinner can be intimate.
It can be.
Yeah,
Most times.
it can be intimate.
And if there's any kind of travel involved, it could just be a precarious position that you put yourself in.
I mean, done all of those things, had work wives, but I mean, it can also be something that organically happens. Like, you all know, everyone knows that I cook a lot. So, whenever I'm working in an office, I'm not trying to go out and spend whatever the number is every day. I'm trying to bring my lunch. So, eventually somebody will be like, hey, can I have some? Of course you can. And then it's like, hey, I brought some, I brought you a little, blah, blah, blah. Then before I know it, every time I bring something for me, I'm bringing something for them. Then, it's like, okay, now we're going to start taking lunch together because I know that you always have food. So it's like, okay, well, hey, we're going out. Okay, let's go out. And it's not like, I'm going to put this staple ring on your finger and,
Staple ring.
Yeah, I made
and
your
paper
ring.
clip.
Right, I made your ring out of paper clips, girl. Put that on. You my work wife now. No. So, I mean, it organically happens. And then that person they are de facto my wife. It wasn't like a ceremony. We didn't go to counseling. We didn't do any of that.
But when it comes time to who are you saving a seat for, it's probably your wife, your work wife. It's just too close. And I'm going to give you another example real quick. So, I was out golfing one time, and a girl had said to me, she said, how's my boyfriend doing? I was like,
Who's a boyfriend?
that's what I said.
Girl, I know she's not talking about
I said, who is your boyfriend? And she was like, girl. And she named my boyfriend. And she was laughing. I said, hey, I don't play like that.
Right.
And she was like, I'm just playing. I said, oh, I know you playing. But I don't play like that.
Yeah. That's not funny.
Don't even try me. But people will try you.
Yeah.
So if you have somebody at home, if you have a girlfriend, she may not like, your sous chef being your work wife. No, that's your sidekick at work. She's your
associate.
She's your right hand.
Okay.
She is not your work wife.
Noted.
I'm just giving you some,
You're trying to help
free
me
advice,
out.
right?
You're trying to help me out.
Trying to keep your relationship going.
I'm not oblivious to how people could look at that and it's a bad thing.
It's not just the optics. It's more than that. It's an inappropriate closeness that you shouldn't have with a person who is not if you're in a relationship or a spouse. But like Janae said in the beginning, if both people are single, then hell, party on.
Right.
Rock it
Wait a
out.
minute.
Rock it out.
But
Bend her over at the water cooler. No one cares.
but it's very organic though. I mean, it's not because I'm not a prowler at work. So I am a nice guy. So man, I'm doing me. I'm having fun. I'm eating. I'm doing what I do, and I look up and you're my work wife. It happens.
I look up and do my work off. And you're bent over on the water cooler.
Right.
I mean,
I think it's just a way to
You're into this sort of
legitimize.
Yeah, it's
of the relationship. It legitimizes the closeness that you have at work that shouldn't even be really
No.
at work.
But in reality, I spend probably more time with my work wife than I do with my wife.
And there right there is a reason why she shouldn't have that title.
Yeah.
For that fact alone. Because you are awake and working more hours than you are at home asleep or at home just being, in family time. No. That's like 4 hours.
And really,
Versus 8.5, maybe 9 for some people.
10.
and the
10.
subconscious mind is strong. So to keep giving someone a title that is so strong and it means so much, and you keep saying it over and over and over,
Legitimizes
it legitimizes it, and it puts it in the air, and it puts it in the universe, and it makes it
Bigger.
something that it shouldn't be. Yeah, it
Right.
snowballs in your mind because our minds, the power of the mind is strong, and words have power. So to just keep saying my work wife, it lends itself to it gives it strength, it gives it power.
A voice. But my point is this: if you're doing it, and it's just a word. It only has power when you give it power.
It's
And
not
if you're
just a
doing
word.
it anyway, but I'm not gonna use the title, But every day I'm fixing you lunch. Every day, we walk to the train together. Every day we come in about the same time.
Y'all down there dating.
Right. True.
If you fixing her lunch and bringing her lunch and making sure she's, not stepping over puddles and shit, if you're doing all that, you have legitimized the title and you are acting accordingly, which is not cool.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't be a gentleman, but you don't have to make her lunch every day. She's a grown ass woman.
I'm making me lunch.
So what?
But it doesn't mean
But
that.
she gets some lunch.
Well, well, let me just say this. I do believe that, and I say this all the time, words have power. So being kind to someone is one thing, but going overboard and bending over backwards and giving them the privileges that you would extend your significant other or spouse is not fair
That's a
to
boundary.
your spouse. And so, and let me just say, and I know that you're trying to differentiate. Okay, if I'm doing it and not calling it a work wife, what's the difference? There is a difference because you're still giving them the title, and for you to keep saying it. It does. It lends itself to a closeness that shouldn't be there.
It's almost as bad as saying, I'm not having sex with someone if you're just performing oral sex. You are having sex. So I know that's extreme,
And he's
but
probably not even agree with that either.
No.
but
He's like,
you're picking straws at this point. Mm-mm. If you are acting like somebody's man, but you don't want to say I'm their man, it doesn't matter. You are doing all the things as their man, and your woman ain't gonna like it.
I mean, I'm a nice guy. If I'm eating, everybody eating. Then that's just how they go.
Then you didn't say you were bringing potluck every day for the whole office.
No, you just
said
said-
you were making her lunch because you're making you lunch
I
Right.
made me lunch and it was enough for her.
every day.
Yeah.
See, no.
yeah.
Now if you bring in a big pot of chili and some,
They ain't paid me that much.
Exactly.
No.
and what is she paying you?
Her company, her friendship.
See, that's a relationship. That's no longer just a work
No.
acquaintance.
Hold on.
That is.
I'm gonna ask, what if she ugly?
No, because I
It doesn't
think
matter.
beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
Because if you start to feel a bond with someone, you'll start to find them attractive.
This is very true.
Whoa, no,
That's true.
no.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, you will.
it is.
I may see attractive things about you, but
Okay.
you look how you look. I mean, I can't. All of the nice guy in the world ain't gonna fix that.
But it may not matter after a certain point in time. You may I just really like this person.
Yeah, I've seen a whole lot of attractive people married to somebody who is probably universally not as attractive, and it's because
They
had
fell in love with the person.
That's right.
And the way that they made them feel.
And they were able to creep up on them under the guise of being a work wife. Is that how that happened?
Could have been.
knows? Right. Could have been. Right.
It could have been, yeah.
She was fixing ham sandwiches every day.
Man, with the with the sandwich spread on there and a little bitty pickle.
Cut the
You know,
crust
man,
off for you.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, some pepper jack. Ooh.
And then, listen, you said words have power. Agreed. Relationships will morph into something stronger if you let them. And so if you keep saying, oh, my work wife, you have, like, in your mind, married this person at work. Like, married this person. Married. You take this word so doggone serious. You've come so close to being married before. I can't even imagine you using this word like that, considering that you've been engaged before. You've almost gone down that.
You should see, oh my God.
Oh my God.
And what about them?
See, because they're beautiful.
Oh my God. Woo.
Beautiful
And then right. No, they're well fed. So then what happens in this scenario when another person moves into the department and then the work wife gets jealous? She knows she has no reason to be, or the work husband gets jealous. I have no reason to be because we're all just coworkers, but people aren't using the term coworkers. People are, matching up. Oh, this is my work wife. That is such bullshit.
Right.
Well, I mean, as in life, I enjoy plurality. So, I mean, if I had to, ingratiate this new person, I would be more than willing to do that for the team.
Is she gonna be your work wife as well, or is she gonna be your work niece?
If we in
What is she gonna
Utah,
be?
you can have
So now
many wives.
you're having a work polyamorous
Right.
relationship. Oh my God.
I mean, it's in my experience. Let me be honest about this. In my experience, when I had quote unquote a work wife, it was never really room for anybody else. I mean, different people could hang out. You weren't barred. But it was never the same with anybody other than that person.
But here's the problem, that it's not just you using that term with that person, it's the rest of the office recognizing that this is a work marriage. And people are
Which
starting...
is now optics, yeah.
Exactly. And so everybody is that's just Gary and his work wife,
Right.
No, because
It's inappropriate.
it is highly inappropriate. It is. And it could teeter
Wait, do you not
on
see that?
sexual
Because
harassment
you're giving,
as well.
That's right.
And I've
Do
seen
you
that
not
happen.
see that? Like it can become an HR issue, or
First of all, y'all using big words. I can't even spell inappropriate.
But
Harassment.
seriously, do you not see the point?
Harassment.
Harassment.
So silly.
Oh my God.
The world, y'all talking about it in the world. No, I mean it's hard for me to really
Let her get mad, get jealous at the new girl, the fresh meat that comes into the office.
Right.
And you are trying to work wife her too. And she's like, well, you know what? He said this to me. He said that to me. He commented on my skirt and he did this. Because she's now scorned. She's jealous. She's bitter. And all that shit will be true. Because all this stuff came out your mouth. You said all these things. You did all these things. It's not meant to be like that at work, period.
I get that part of it.
It's just inviting drama to your workplace.
It's inviting
unnecessary.
I get that
trouble.
part of it, but it's you're at work, 8 to in my world 8 to 10, 11 hours a day. You see somebody, you don't necessarily like that person. You enjoy their company, and it's a good, safe relationship to have with a person. Not that you even want anything more. I don't know that I've ever wanted anything more from my work wives. I do enjoy the company of women.
So you never, well, we know that. So you've never looked at any of your work wives and had a fleeting thought of, what if?
Not fleeting. I mean, I'm a man. I've looked at them and been like, man, she could get it. But it's a part of it where you have to say, nah, I'm not. That's not.
And then why were you
using your
saying
word,
no? Because she was.
appropriate.
Why? Because it was a work situation, or because she was married?
Well, in my situations, there were two where one was just like, no, that's not a good thing to do. It'll mess up the dynamic of what we have. The other one was, she was entangled.
Yeah. It's just a fine line. It's a fine line. I knew a guy who relocated to a different city, and same position but a different city. But when he got there, the way he behaved here in Chicago wasn't okay in this new city.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say that, he always worked around a lot of women, and because of that, I think it was just kind of like, how women are, how we are. Well, the first week that he was there, they reported his ass to HR.
Oh, because he was doing that?
Yes.
Oh.
He's making me feel very uncomfortable. He keeps touching me.
Oh.
And he was just like, I'm just slapping hands and slapping knees. Like,
Oh,
he didn't feel like he was being touchy-feely.
Yeah.
But he got some sensitivity training.
But
The boundaries are different.
Yes.
In different places.
But
So.
speaking of different places, there was a lady that I ended up going out with, and she used to work for me, and so I, propositioned her a couple of times.
She worked for you?
Yes.
And you went out with her?
Absolutely.
Alrighty.
So, I was like, hey,
Go ahead.
it happened. I mean, I can't rewind.
Undo it, right? It's done.
So I was like, hey, man, we should go out. I want to get to know you, blah, blah, blah. And so she's like, I don't go out with people that I work with. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you should quit. And she did. And I was like, oh, I just played about that. But she did. She quit.
She quit to date you?
Mm-hmm.
And clearly that didn't work out because
she's not your girlfriend
You're
or
right.
your wife.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't like a horrible thing or whatever. She just figured out that she didn't want to follow me around the country. Because we left California and moved to Ohio.
So her position was just a job that she could just pick up and
No,
go get it.
she recreated herself.
how long ago was this?
90?
Is she
91?
stable? I mean, like.
Yeah, she's actually living a really good life now. She
With padded walls?
No, she got a family. She's a good girl.
Yeah, but she didn't know you from.
No, I mean, no, we knew each other. It wasn't like, she worked for me for a while.
And you said you should quit. And she said, oh.
She said that.
There's an idea. All
And
right.
she did.
And you dated her exclusively?
I had to. We lived
I was gonna. Oh,
You lived together.
So then you guys
This became a real relationship.
So when she quit, did you feel a sense of obligation because like, oh wow, I need to try to make good of this?
I don't know that I felt a sense of obligation as much as I felt a sense of, man, if she did all of that, you better bring it. You can't.
That's the same thing.
You can't half-ass this.
Right. Okay.
So you cohabitated?
Mm-hmm.
For how long?
2 years.
Very interesting.
Was she working then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, I've just made a list of things
There's
Kim
always
Janae
one.
would never do.
There's always one.
Like wow, right?
But I mean, you all have the advantage, and I mean, you all are beautiful creatures as women, and you all have the advantage of seeing things from a woman's purview. But to see it from a man's purview is different. It's totally different.
Yeah, that's why I find your perspective not necessarily enlightening, but it's interesting.
It's
Yeah, it is. No, seriously, I do find it very. Even when we have our in-person discussions and other men are giving us their perspective, it's like wow, it's usually very vastly different from mine, but I respect it. I enjoy hearing it.
I have a question for you though.
Sure.
So, Gary, not married, Gary, not like a dad by blood, but you have tons of godkids and children that I know that you've helped raise.
Mm-hmm.
You have a niece that you're very close to. So if it were her, would your feeling be the same? Like, oh, it's just a word. You would be like the same way giving her advice.
I would give her different advice because she's a different person. My advice to my niece would be, to be careful. That would be my advice to her.
Mm-hmm.
And probably not to do it. But that, I'm not her. She's not me.
Right. I just kind of wanted to see if you could think outside of your perspective and look at it from I literally try each and every time I hear you say something. I'm like, what? Right. I try and put myself in your shoes and be like, would I? If I was a guy, could I? But sometimes I don't think you do that. I don't think you make yourself the woman. So I have to find a way.
Kind of hard.
No,
Yeah,
he doesn't.
Someone who you love, with all your heart, and I know how you feel about your niece. And there it is. You would tell her probably not to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Move with trepidation.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, if y'all got some work husbands and work wives out there, let us know.
Hey, don't let this conversation mess up your work life and your work love.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Oh my
And
goodness.
don't let your work love ruin your
Don't let it
love
get you killed.
life.
KILT. Don't let it get you killed.
Hey, sometimes
Unalive.
it
Right.
can lead to some very happy moments.
Oh my gosh.
Let us know what you think about the work wife, work husband tagline phenomenon. Let us know what you think. We are genuinely interested in hearing what you have to say. So,
People can actually, work husbands and work wives can actually sabotage your real relationship at home. You start telling secrets and stuff like that. If they get jealous enough, they can pick up the phone and be like, yeah, you know what? I know you did this and what you're not doing. And yeah, that's not your person. It's not your person either.
I'm not here to defend the institution. I am here to say that it wasn't always.
It's not an institution. He's defending the institution like it's a real marriage.
are we regenerating?
Oh my goodness. Anyway, guys.
Join us next Tuesday.
Leave a comment.
Yes, please leave a comment. Let us know.
Share and subscribe.
I think so. I think so.
Okay.
If not, we will figure that out.
Okay. All right. Well, there it is. Work wives, work husbands. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you've done it before and if you're doing it right now.
And if some of y'all
Nasty.
need a date for the Christmas party,
Nasty.
I'm available.
All right, guys.
All right.
Just kidding. Don't.
Have a good night,
I'm not
everybody.
We'll be here all night listening to Gary.
And his gibber. Thank you.
Left corner. Yep.
Thank you.
One more tap.